Namaste and welcome to Tridevi Chamunda Mandir in Denver, Colorado. This is Yamajit, and thank you so very much for joining me tonight for our Tuesday satsang and for part 2 of our new series on Kali for everyone. So last week we discussed really the origins of what we think of today as Hinduism and the Indus Valley civilization. And tonight we're going to talk about the origins of the goddess archetype of Ma Kali. And I'd like to say namaste to CF, who's joining us right now. And anybody else who happens to be tuning in at this point, please feel free to say hello using the chat function on the bottom of your screen. Namaste to Jamie as well. Jamie, if you'd let me know how I sound when you get a chance. Sounds like I'm doing pretty well. So I'd like to start out with a couple of announcements. So this coming Friday at 7 p.m. will be our monthly Yoga Nidra practice, and this will be the end of the series of Yoga Nidras I've been doing on the Dasha Mahavidyas, the 10 Mahavidya goddesses. And we'll be honoring Ma Kamla in our Yoga Nidra. And this will be a special Yoga Nidra for building self-esteem and also one's sense of self-worth. And then next Tuesday will be part 3 of our Kali for Everyone series. And I'll be discussing the origins of probably the most popular form of Kali. And that would be Dakshina Kali, is a very benevolent form of Kali who stands upon Lord Shiva, leading with her right leg. And for CF, yes, we do some Buddhist practices on this channel and at this temple as well. So a couple of upcoming broadcasts to look forward to. And let's go ahead and go right into our satsang. And I'd like to begin with some scriptural reading from the Devi Mahatmya, also known as the Chandipat. And I'm going to be sharing with you chapter 7, the slaying of Chanda and Munda. So this explains the origins of Chamunda, Kali Chamunda, which is really her oldest form. For anyone who might not be familiar with this scripture, the scripture describes a series of battles taking place between the Divine Mother, mostly in the form of Ma Durga, against a series of demons. And these demons have names that translate to too much, too little. The demons that she's going to be fighting in this chapter, Chanda and Munda, meaning passion and anger. So really, the battles that are described in this scripture are battles that go on all the time within us. And the demons are our own inner thoughts. And in fact, the translator, Swami Satyananda Sarasvati, uses the term thoughts, where typically in these scriptures, the word ashura is being used, and ashura meaning demon. So, Devi Mahatmya, chapter 7, the slaying of passion and anger. Om, the Rishi said, in adherence to the command of the demon self-conceit, also known as Shumba, passion and anger, Chanda and Munda, set forth with 4 divisions of an army of thoughts, that is demons, well adorned with weapons and armor. On a high peak in the Golden Mountains, they saw the goddess sitting on her lion, smiling with delight. Seeing her, the thoughts made ready to capture her. Some took up their bows, some raised up their swords, some collected around the goddess and began to fight. Then the mother of the universe became very angry with those attackers, and her face turned dark with rage. The eyebrows were scowling from from her frowning forehead, and appeared the remover of darkness. This is Kali, with a terribly frightening face, who is holding a sword and a net in her hands. She wore a leopard skin garment and a garland of human skulls. Her flesh had withered, and she appeared as a skeleton of bones and very fierce. Kali displayed fantastic missiles of consciousness. Her mouth was immense, and she brandished her tongue as a sword that caused great fear. Her eyes were penetrating and somewhat red, and her fearful roar was humming in all directions. Kali, the remover of darkness, killed many great demons, that is, thoughts, and after destroying an army of thoughts in great haste, she began to eat them all. She picked up elephants with one hand and put them into her mouth together with their protectors, the driver with a goad, soldiers with bells. At the same way, she took the warriors' horses, chariots, with their charioteers, and the entire cavalry of thoughts. She put them into her mouth and hideously began to chew. Some demons she grabbed by the hair, others she crushed at the throat, still others she trampled with her feet, and others she killed by a stroke to her breast. She picked up the great weapons of that army in her mouth, and in a fearful state of anger, she ground them with her teeth. She trampled that entire army of mighty and wicked thoughts and ate them all, and others she fiercely beat. Some fell by the blade of her sword, some were beaten by the missiles of consciousness, and some were crushed to death by her formidable teeth. In this way, that entire mighty army of thoughts was killed in a moment. Seeing this, passion, Chamunda, attacked that excessively fearful remover of darkness. Also, that great thought, anger, Munda, rained his extremely terrible arrows and hurled 1,000 discuses against the fearful-eyed goddess Kali. Those discuses entered into her mouth, shone as a halo of light of the sun absorbed in many clouds. Then, with a fearful roar, the remover of darkness laughed furiously, her teeth radiantly gleaming in her fierce mouth. Then the goddess, mounted upon her lion, seized Passion by the hair, and with a broad sword she cut off his head. Seeing the death of Passion, Munda, anger, attacked the goddess. Then in terrible anger, stabbing him with her sword, she laid him to rest upon the ground. The remaining army, seeing the death of the terribly valiant Passion and anger, Chamunda and Munda, were overcome with fear and ran away. Thereafter, the remover of darkness, Ma Kali, took the heads of Passion and anger in her hands and brought them to she who tears apart thoughts, Ma Durga, and spoke to her with a great laugh. I present you with the two beasts, Passion and anger. Now, in war of sacrifice, you yourself shall kill the demons' self-conceit and self-deprecation, Sumba and Nisumba. And the Rishi said, seeing the heads of the two great thought demons, Passion and anger, brought there, the goddess of welfare, Ma Durga, she who tears apart thought, in the sweet words said to Kali, the remover of darkness, since you have brought me the heads of Passion and anger, henceforth you shall be known as the slayer of Passion and anger, Chamunda. Om. So the Devi Mahatmya is part of a much larger scripture known as the Markandeya Purana. And the Puranas, or the great epics, were written in the early centuries of the Common Era. Before the Puranas were written, were the Upanishads. And the Upanishads were scriptures that were written in the last few centuries before the Common Era. And both of those, the Puranas, the epics that is, and the Upanishads are based upon the Vedas. And the Vedas are the oldest religious texts in the world. The Rig Veda is the oldest, and it dates back to roughly 3,500 years ago. So about the same time that the Indus Valley civilization fell, these scriptures, which had been told orally for who knows how many centuries, were finally being written down. So I mentioned last week at the end of our discussion that pre-Vedic elements continued among the lower castes in the areas free from outside influence. And this would include areas in the north of India, in the Himalayas, and also in the south of India, where such states as Kerala and Tamil Nadu are today. And therefore, the cults of Shiva and Shakti seem to have been survivals of the pre-Vedic or Dravidian practices. So let's talk about the origins of Ma Kali. We look at this painting in the back of our altar. The name Kali has two meanings. It means time, and it also means darkness. And when we think of Kali and darkness, think of two different things: the infinite blackness of space, but also the darkness, the blackness of the soil from which all things arise and all things will return to in the end. In the Rig Veda, Kali is one of the 7 tongues of Lord Agni, the god of fire. And the Vedas also mention Ratri, a goddess of death and battle. There is also mention of a South Indian goddess similar to Kali named Kotravi, dating back to this time. The Atharva Veda mentions the god Kala, a masculine god, but also the name meaning darkness or time. So we go forward to the early epic period, and the Mahabharata and the Ramayana. So during the epic period, sometime after the 5th century before the Common Era and the early centuries of the Common Era, Kali emerges better defined. In one episode of the Mahabharata, the camp of the heroic Pandava brothers is attacked by this sword-wielding being. And this attack is said to be the work of Kali of the bloody mouth and eyes, smeared with blood and adorned with garlands, her garment reddened, holding a noose in hand, binding men, horses, and elephants with her terrible snares of death. So although the passage goes on to describe the slaughter as an act of human warfare, it makes clear that the fierce goddess is ultimately the agent of death who carries off those who are slain. So in this really early medieval, going into the early medieval period, we have a collection of goddesses known as the Shapta Matrika, or the 7 little mothers. And we see Chamunda, Kali, at the very end. The next photo I'm going to show you is actually from a collection of the Matrikas found in the Denver Art Museum. And we see Kali, again in the form of Chamunda. And here in this particular piece, she's seated at the very end next to Lord Ganesha. This next photo is of Chamunda from the British Museum. She's at least 1,000 to 1,200 years old. And notice that she is seated upon Lord Shiva, who appears to be in the form of balasana, or child's pose. So to say a little bit more about Kali in great epics, according to David Kinsley, Kali is first mentioned in Hinduism as a distinct goddess related to war around the year 600 of the Common Era. Scriptures like the Agni Purana and Garuda Purana describe her terrible appearance and associate her with corpses and war. The Bhagavata Purana, which is where the Ramayana and the Mahabharata comes from, called her the patron deity of Thebes, and she was worshipped initially by tribals and lower caste Hindus in what are referred to as wild places. There's an architectural work dating between the 6th and 8th centuries and describes her temples to be built near cremation grounds or houses of lower caste people. Kali, or goddesses with similar iconography, like Chamunda, really a form of Kali, appear in different Sanskrit works dating from the 7th to the 12th century. And we get into that period, the 7th to the 12th centuries. We also see during that time the rise of the tantric movements as well, and the scriptures known as the agamas or the tantras. And so followers of Kali and the goddess Kali herself, or Chamunda, are described as lovers of blood sacrifice, adorned with human skulls and corpses, and residing near cremation grounds. Kali appears as the wrathful form of the goddess Durga or Parvati, and we saw that actually in that scripture, the passage that I read from the Devi Mahatmya. This photo here is of a tantric. Let's see. How is the sound at the moment, Jamie? Someone mentioned the sound was going bad. Anyway, this tantric temple here is the Chasati or 64 Yogini temple in Hirapur in the state of Orissa. And we see images of the 64 yoginis, including this one, of Ma Chamunda. And we see her, she's wielding a tiger skin, and she's dancing upon a musk deer. So the Hirapur temple was built during the era where we see the rise of Tantra, the Gupta kingdoms of around 600 to 1300 in the Common Era. And it's during the Gupta period that we find just these beautiful stone temples. And we look at the sculptures on the side of the temples. They're very well known for the tantric scenery, but also for images of Ma Chamunda Kali. So the Gupta period ended around the time of the Mughal invasions between 1300 and 1400 of the Common Era. This is a photo of me standing before another 64 Yogini temple in the Gupta temple city of Khajuraho. And this temple, many of these temples were destroyed by the Mughal invaders in the 1500s. One of the reasons why the 64 Yogini temple is so well preserved is it was built of granite rather than sandstone. It was just too heavy to pull down. And even though the temple is semi-ruined, its statues are gone. Local farmers of Khajuraho still leave offerings at this temple to this very day. So the Mughals destroyed many temples and suppressed especially the Hindu Shakta sect. The Shakta branch of Hinduism is the goddess-centered branch of Hinduism. Yet, in the Amber Fort in Rajasthan, there is still a small Kali shrine where Mughal warriors would pray for victory. There's another temple complex in the north of India, a place called Jawalamukhi, and there are 9 natural fire springs, and it is said that the tongue of the Divine Mother resides there. Think of the tongue of flames. And the Mughal Emperor Akbar attempted to extinguish these natural fire springs by covering them and trying to smother them out. And still, the flames kept burning. And in the end, Akbar allowed the temple to continue to exist and even gifted them with this golden umbrella. And this is the main fire spring. I visited there in the spring of 2006, and it's just an amazing place. So before we go into the puja phase of our class tonight, I'd like to say a little bit about the symbolism surrounding Ma Chamunda. I'm going to move my microphone here just to make sure that we're getting a good signal. And so this is part of an old Indian painting. And by the way, this is a print that was a birthday gift from my wife, Jamie. Jamie, I think you're listening, and thank you so very much for giving this to me. And we see Ma Chamunda, black in color. She is very gaunt in appearance, pendular breasts. Sometimes she's shown as being very skeletal. She is literally the mother who gives everything to her children. Here we see the battlefield of the Devi Mahatmaya, the scattered corpses of the demons, and she's holding a large number of demon heads by the hair. And then paying reverence to her are the 3 gods, Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma. So to say a little bit more about her symbolism, her long disheveled hair, very often going out in all directions. That symbolizes the fact that everything is connected to the divine. Her black skin, again, the infinity of space, the darkness of the soil. Her sword for slaying those or cutting away those ego attachments that hold us back from expressing our full potential. This is a Nepalese figure of Chamunda. This is Sveta Kali, the white Kali. And you'll notice she's leading with her right foot upon Lord Shiva. And Shiva is in Bhujangasana, or the cobra pose. So this would be related to Kundalini. She's displaying the mudras of dispelling fear, the upward hand, and giving boons, the downward hand. Sveta Kali, this form of Chamunda, is associated with a king who was frightened on a hunting trip by a bull elephant. And so one of her weapons is an elephant goad. There's the sword for slaying the ego. She holds a small shield. And Kali's sword is an invincible weapon. If you have Kali's sword, you can't lose in battle. So this little shield is not for her, it's for the protection of her children. She's holding a coil of rope representing the binding of ignorance, and she's holding the head of a demon. This is, she is holding the ego attachments that she has cut away from us. And we see a very skeletal appearance here. And then if you would like a Chamunda statue for yourself, this wooden one here happens to be available on Etsy for $84. Very nicely done. And in both of these, we see Kali upon either Lord Shiva or her mount, which is a corpse. And notice that the corpse appears to be reanimating. And we are that corpse. We are Lord Shiva in this situation. And we are essentially dead until we allow that divine power to come on to us. But if you like the statue, take a look on Etsy, go on their search engine, type in Chamunda, and it's also a chance to, if you buy this, to put $84 into Ukraine's economy. So let's go ahead and do some puja and meditation. The mantra we're going to use is the Chamunda mantra, also known as the Nivarna mantra. And I'm going to read to you a short passage from my Kali meditation book, book 3, which is Chamunda sadhana, daily practices for the oldest form of Ma Kali as worshipped in the Kathmandu Valley. So the mantra we're going to use is Om Aing Hrim Klim Chamundaye Vicce. You'll see it written out in the description for this video. Known as the Nivarna mantra, it is regarded as one of the most powerful mantras to both Kali and goddess Durga. As the Maha mantra, also known as the Hare Krishna mantra, is held dear by worshippers of Lord Vishnu and his 10 avatars, so the Nivarna mantra is cherished by the followers of Shakta, that is goddess-based Hinduism. Its meaning: Om, the infinite beyond conception, universal vibration. Aing, creation, Rajasguna, Icha Shakti, energy of desire. Mahasarasvati, or Svetakali. Icha Shakti, that's the power of will. Hrim, preservation. Sattvaguna, Jnana Shakti, the power of knowledge. Energy of wisdom. Mahalakshmi, Bhadrakali. Klim, destruction. Tamasguna, Kriya Shakti, that's the energy of action. Mahakali, or Ma Chamunda. Chamunda, slayer of passion and anger. It's also associated, it can also mean what moves in the head, our thoughts. Yai, the granter of boons. Vicce, the body of knowledge and perception. Che, of consciousness. Vicce can also refer to protection. In other words, we could translate this mantra to say, by the forces of creation, preservation, and destruction, may the goddess Chamunda purify our thoughts and give us knowledge or protection. To say something about the mantra Klim, it functions as a Kali mantra, but it's also associated with Kama, the Hindu Cupid, the god of love, and also Lord Krishna. Klim therefore reflects our natural attraction to the divine and the attraction to things, of things desired to us. The syllable thus reflects a gentler form of Kali. If one desires to work with a more intense Kali energy, one might experiment with a modified mantra, Om Aing Hrim Krim. Say it again. Om Aing Hrim Krim Chamundaye Vicce. And I've worked with this mantra in both of its forms. For those of you who are new to our series, I highly encourage you to make a little puja set for yourself. so that you can practice along with me as I do the live broadcast. So you should include, your set should include a water pot and spoon. Let me get this in front of the camera here. A water pot and spoon and some kind of candle holder. This is a skunda from Nepal and has both of those objects attached together. You'll need an incense holder. It can be very simple like this one. Bottle of perfume. Some kind of plate to use as an altar surface. Some food to offer. A mala of 108 beads. And by the way, this particular mala came from Chamundaye in the lower Himalayas, on the site where the battle that I described between the Divine Mother and the demons Chanda and Munda by tradition actually took place. And then finally, some flowers to offer as well. So I invite you to sit in a comfortable position. Find a position where you can sit comfortably and look upon your screen with a relaxed gaze. Let your back be straight so your breath can be full. And let's begin by taking some deep, slow, yogic breaths. So taking some time to ground and to center. Preparing for the work that we're to do. Letting go of the cares of the day and the thoughts of tomorrow, bringing your awareness to this present moment. Focusing your breath and your attention on your heart center. And silently getting in touch with that divine essence which is in yourself. And I invite you to think about some aspect of your life that is ready for healing or transformation. You could also think of somebody else who could benefit from the help of the Divine Mother at this time. And I invite you to formulate to yourself silently just a short intention for tonight's practice, a personal sankalpa. And so we'll begin by chanting the Navarna mantra for our puja, for making our offerings. And then we'll continue with 108 representations. And so I invite you to chant along with me, or you can meditate quietly, just focusing on the mantra and our devotional images, and just let the sound of the mantra guide your consciousness to where it needs to be at this time. Om. Om Aing Hrim Klim. Chamundaye Vicce. So you cleanse your hands. Om Aing Hrim Klim. Chamundaye Vicce. Cleanse the objects of offering and the altar. Om Aing Hrim Klim Chamundaye Vicce. Using the middle finger on your right hand, offering some perfume. Om Aing Hrim Klim Chamundaye Vicce. Offering the food, holding it with your right hand, circling it 3 times. Om Aing Hrim Klim Chamundaye Vicce. Lighting the candle. Om Aing Hrim Klim Chamundaye Vicce. Om Aing Hrim Klim Chamundaye Vicce. Offering the flame, lighting the incense. Om Aing Hrim Klim Chamundaye Vicce. Om Aing Hrim Klim Chamundaye Vicce. Offering a little water to cool the atmosphere. Om Aing Hrim Klim Chamundaye Vicce. And finally offering flowers. Om Aing Hrim Klim Chamundaye Vicce. Om Aing Hrim Klim Chamundaye Vicce. Om Aing Hrim Klim Chamundaye Vicce. And then bowing to your altar. Om Aing Hrim Klim Chamundaye Vicce. And then continuing the mantra. Om Aing Hrim Klim Chamundaye Vicce. 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 Om Aing Hrim Klim. 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 Chamundaye Vicce. Om Aing Hrim Klim 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 Chamundaye Vicce. Breathing deeply, feeling the power of the mantra. Feeling it going toward your intention and toward those closest to you. Continue breathing deeply and let the power of that mantra be integrated into your being. Offering the mala, Jema. Offering another flower, Jema. Bowing and offering our reverence, Jema. And then bringing the palms of your hands together at your heart center. And acknowledging that presence of the Divine Mother Kali within yourself, as well as all around you. And taking some time to give gratitude to yourself for taking part in this practice, knowing you can replay this broadcast, or just simply repeat this mantra again whenever you have need. Very powerful mantra. And slowly opening your eyes if they're closed. Namaste. Blessings always. Thank you so much for joining me this evening, and Jai Ma. Jai Ma. Jai Ma. And thank you so very much. So I hope you enjoyed that. And very glad that you joined me this evening. And I want to thank anybody who'll be watching the recording of this broadcast later and doing this practice as well. I look forward to you joining me Friday, 7 p.m. for our Yoga Nidra practice, where we'll honor Ma Kamla, Kali in the form of Ma Lakshmi, the giver of good fortune. As always, I advise you to take some time for some quiet contemplation before resuming the day's activities. And Jai Mata Di. Jai Mata Di. Jai Mata Di. Thank you again. Wonderful night and day ahead. Jai Ma.